Greetings, viewers. My name is Fer, and I'm going to be reading today the Ickabog, chapters 34 and chapters 35 with you. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and share the screen and read along with you. Chapter 34. 3 more feet. This had better be worth my while, snapped Spittleworth 5 minutes later as he entered the blue parlor where the spy was waiting. Your lordship, said the breathless man. They're saying the monsters hopping. They're saying what? Hopping, my lord. Hopping, he panted. They have noticed all the prints are made by the same left foot. Spittleworth stood speechless. It had never occurred to him that the common folk might be clever enough to spot a thing like that. Indeed, he, who had never had to look after a living creature in his life, not even his own horse, hadn't stopped to consider the fact that a creature's feet might not all make the same prints in the ground. Must I think of everything? Bellowed Spittleworth, and he stormed out of the parlor and off to the cards room, where he found Mayor Roach drinking wine and playing cards with some friends. The major leapt to his feet at the sight of Spittleworth, who beckoned him to come outside. I want you to assemble the Ickabog Defense Brigade immediately, Roach. Spittleworth told the mayor in a low voice. You are to ride north, and be sure to make plenty of noise as you go. I want everyone from Shubil to Jeroboam to see you passing by. Then, once you're up there, spread out and mount a guard over the border of the march. But, began Major Roach, who'd gotten used to a life of ease and plenty at the palace, with occasional rides around the Shubil in uniform. I don't want buts. I want action, shouted Spittleworth. Rumors are flying that there's nobody stationed in the north. Go, now, and make sure you wake up as many people as you possible as you go. But leave me 2 men, Roach. Just 2. I have another small job for them. So the grumpy Roach ran off to assemble his troops, and Spittleworth proceeded alone to the dungeon. The first thing he heard when he got there was the sound of Mr. Dovetail, who was still singing the national anthem. Be quiet, bellowed Spittleworth, throwing his sword and gesturing to the warder to let him into Mr. Dovetail's cell. The carpenter appeared quite different to the last time Lord Spittleworth had seen him. Since learning that he wasn't to be let out of the dungeon to see Daisy, a wild look had appeared in Mr. Dovetail's eye. Of course, he hadn't been able to shave for weeks either, and his hair had grown rather long. I said, be quiet, barked Spittleworth, because the carpenter, who didn't seem to be able to help himself, was still humming the national anthem. I need another 3 feet. Do you hear me? 1 more left foot and 2 right. Do you understand me, carpenter? Mr. Dovetail stopped humming. If I carve them, will you let me out to see my daughter, my lord? He asked in a hoarse voice. Spittleworth smiled. It was clear that to him that the man was going slowly mad, because only a madman will imagine he'd be let out after making another 3 Ickabog feet. Of course I will, said Spittleworth, I shall have the wood delivered to you first thing tomorrow morning. Work hard, carpenter. When you're finished, I'll let you out to see your daughter. When Spilward emerged from the dungeons, he found two soldiers waiting for him, just as he requested. Spittleward led these men up to his private apartments, made sure cankered by the footman wasn't skulking about, locked the door, and turned to give them men their instructions. There will be 50 ducats for each of you if you succeed in this job, he said, and the soldiers looked excited. You are to follow the Lady Islanda, morning, noon, and night. You understand me? She must not know you are following her. You'll wait for a moment when she's quiet, alone, so that you can kidnap her without anyone hearing or seeing anything. If she escapes, or if you are seen, I shall deny that I gave you this order and put you to that. What do we do with her once we got her? Asked one of the soldiers, who no longer looked excited, but very scared. Hmm, said Spittlewort, turning to look out of the window while he considered what best to do with Islanda. Well, a lady of the court isn't the same as a butcher. The Ickabog can't enter the palace and eat her. No. I think it's best, said Spittlewort, a slow smile spreading over his crafty face. If you take Lady Islanda to my state in the country, send word when you've got her there, and I'll join you. This concludes chapter 34, Three More Feet, and now we're going to go ahead and read chapter 35 under the title Lord Spittlewort's Proposal. A few days later, Lady Islanda was walking alone in the palace rose garden when the two soldiers hiding in a bush spotted their chance. They seized her, gagged her, bound her hands, and drove her away to Spittleworth State in the country. Then they sent a message to Spittleworth and waited for him to join them. Spittleworth promptly summoned Lady Islanda's maid, Millicent. By threatening to murder Millicent's little sister, he forced her to deliver messages to all Lady Islanda's friends, telling them that her mistress had decided to become a nun. Lady Islanda's friends were all shocked by this news. She never mentioned waiting to become a nun to any of them. In fact, several of them were suspicious that Lord Spittleworth had had something to do with her sudden disappearance. However, I'm sad to tell you that Spittleworth was not so widely feared, that apart from whispering their suspicions to one another, Islanda's friends did nothing to either find her or ask Spittleworth what he knew. Perhaps even worse was the fact that none of them tried to help Millicent, who was caught by soldiers trying to flee the city within the city and imprisoned in the dungeons. Next, Spittleworth had set out for his country state, where he arrived late the following evening. After giving each of Islanda's kidnappers 50 ducats and reminding them that if they talk, he'd have them executed, Spittleworth smoothed his thin mustaches in a mirror, then went to find Lady Islanda, who was sitting in his rather dusty library reading a book by candlelight. Good evening, my lady, said Spittleworth, sweeping her about. Lady Islanda looked at him in silence. I have good news for you, continued Spittleworth, smiling. You are to become the wife of the chief advisor. I sooner die, said Lady Islanda pleasantly, and turning a page in her book, she continued to read. Come, come, said Spittleworth. As you can see, my house really needs a woman's tender care. You'll be far happier here, making yourself useful, than pinning over the cheesemaker's son, who in any case is likely to starve to death any day now. Lady Islanda, who had expected Spittleworth to mention Captain Goodfellow, had been preparing for this moment ever since arriving in the cold and dirty house. So she said, with neither a blush nor a tear, I stopped caring for Captain Goodfellow a long time ago, Lord Spittleworth. The sight of him confessing to treason disgusted me. I could never love a treacherous man, which is why I never could love you. She said it so convincingly that Spittleworth believed her. He tried a different threat and told her he'd kill her parents if she didn't marry him. But Lady Slanda reminded him that she, like Captain Goodfellow, was an orphan. Then Spittleworth said he'd take away all the jewelry her mother had left her, but she shrugged and said she preferred the books anyway. Finally, Spittleworth threatened to kill her, and Lady Slanda suggested he get on with him, because that would be far better than listening to him talk. Spittleworth was enraged. He became used to having his own way in everything, and here was something he couldn't have, and it only made him what it all the more. Finally, he said that if she liked the book so much, he locked her up inside the library forever. He had bars fitted on all the windows, and Scrumble, the butler, will bring her food 3 times a day, but she will only ever leave the room to go to the bathroom, unless she agreed to marry him. Then I shall die in this room, said Lady Slanda calmly. Or perhaps, who knows, in the bathroom. As he couldn't get another word out of her, the furious chief advisor left. Thank you for reading with me chapters 34 and 35. Hopefully, it was thrilling and exciting as it was for me. Bye.